Carr sought information for a living. That is to say that ever since he returned from Korea, after having served with the armed forces, he had been working as a private investigator in Montreal. William Hamilton, a rich industrialist, had gotten in touch with him regarding a simple vandalism issue. Nothing to write home about. Not worth hiring a private eye either, just so he can drive for hours on rough roads. But that's how it had always been. The client pays, Carl gets it done. They had set up to meet at the general store, his client's business. Well, actually, the entire village had William Hamilton's name written all over it. When the roads were bad, muddy, or snowed in, it was customary around these parts to close them off. But it was also customary to ignore those signs entirely and drive there anyway.
You're Technician 3. Technician.
Carl was meeting his client in a store near this area. He was on the right track.
Almost had that map. Let's look at my loadout right now.
Hamilton never mentioned a road blocking barrier. Why was it needed here in the back of Beyond? That would, however, be a mystery for another day. Carl had waited long enough for someone to come and raise it. Still not a soul in sight. There was no point in waiting any longer. Carl had to figure this one out by himself. Hamilton is waiting for Carl in the general store. It was time for him to get down to business. William Hamilton enjoyed a lavish country house built in the very heart of the northern forests, not too far from here. The local populace was divided when it came to the affluent man. Some saw a wealthy philanthropist dedicated to improving the region's economy. Others an aging Englishman who would do anything to further his fortunes. And those ones hated him enough to go on about scheming against him. Hamilton had recently acquired a few local businesses, but the last straw was the reopening of a mine, which gave rise to a wave of protests and threats from the Cree people. Given these circumstances, Carl reckoned that a good number of people must be feeling compelled to oppose Hamilton in one way or another. So far, only the industrialist's house had been a target, but soon enough, the target would become the man himself. Carl needed to get out of there. The cold and the pain required urgent care. The driver had taken off. It was still best to check it out and leave nothing to chance. Carl needed help. It was a small, locked box engraved with the letters W.H. Carl thought about taking it. Nothing was to be left to chance. Such heart-wrenching Nordic poetry that was. But Carl didn't care much about flowery language. This deep in the country, his last hope was to find an abandoned garage or a farm by the roadside. His life depended on it. Scratches did not stop Carl. His mother would be so proud.
Are you still playing hockey?
No.
Oh.
Even better than he had hoped. Carl Faubert had succeeded once more, and was now on his way to new adventures.
Are you watching something?
No.
Carl wondered how long he would have to endure this skin-stinging cold. Ever diligent in his work, always carried his log on him, in which he scribbled down thoughts and leads alike during the course of his investigations.
Huntress is kind of hard to do because you don't have like an aim marker. You don't really have like there's no like arch or like visible arch before you throw it, so it's kind of hard to throw in your axes. For playing the Huntress. Spread out on old and undefiled lakes,
The Manistan region was no tourist hub. It was said to have been populated for millennia by Cree people, and ever since the industrial era, by the metal mining industry. Carl's military training had made him a very punctual man. Being late to his meeting with Hamilton was out of the question. Running on fumes. Good thing that the general store was close by. Carl had no trouble recognizing his employer. He had been killed. There was no need to be a detective to figure that out. But only a detective could have noticed that the killer had to have been very close, that the fatal blow had been given before the victim even realized. An explosion suddenly occurred outside. According to that log, it seemed like the whole village owed some money to the general store. Carl was far more interested in the bunch of nearby addresses he had just gotten his hands on, though.
Hello.
Carl knew that Gilles Lachance was in charge of the general store. That made him one of Hamilton's employees. A very angry employee, as Carl could plainly see. The snowstorm pummeled everything in its path. Carl was not surprised when he heard no tone. The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time. Maintaining his composure, Carl recalled something from his military training. Wolves always stay away from populated areas. Wait, was it about bears?
Hi, buddy. Bye.
Huh?
Carl was used to strange phenomena, but a chunk of ice like this, as if an iceberg came out of the ground, that was a first. Prince? Carl found a surprise at every turn. Was the camera faulty, or was there a possible leak? Carl felt that the store and its surroundings still held their secrets, and he didn't like to miss out.
What kind of ranking system are you going on? I'm a rank 11 killer, and there's a rank 14, rank
Carl
17,
wondered what the hell could that
rank
thing
13.
be. It looked like a
rank
man
5.
fossilized in ice.
What the heck's going on? Oh, I don't. Why did I say level up? I don't know what level up my hunter is. It's really hard to do. Why did I do that? That city.
The Polaroid, Carl's long-standing and faithful ally, had seen its share of husbands caught red-handed cheating. There's always something out there waiting to be snapped away. The air was freezing, right down to the bone. The otherworldly ice had struck again. The woman's hopes and dreams were frozen in eternity. Something was hidden under the stairs. The man grabbed his rifle. Carl felt a sense of dread in him. Perhaps their spousal relationship had been cooling down lately. It seemed like secrecy was commonplace in this house. Carl felt the cold slowly dissipate and was brought back to reality. Giselle was now only ice, and all that was left of her voice was a diary. She confided in this diary, amongst other things, the tragic story of a young woman.
This is a really interesting story.
Was this what she was hiding?
Do you know how I cancel the hatchet from when you play Huntress?
Oh no. I only played her a few times.
Yo, I'll go too. I'm trying to get my my daily done with her. I have to hit 4 survivors with their attack with the hatch.
Yo,
Yeah.
this game is interesting.
You just buy a random game?
No, I had it for a while.
Oh.
How do I check my charges?
Looks like the holes in that puzzle are there to stay. Carl had seen that kind of safe before.
I don't like playing
With
the
its double-layered
hunters.
security system blending
I'm pretty
letters and
sure over
numbers,
time I would
its
probably
code couldn't
make
be
that
broken
video
by the
because
common burglar.
Huh?
She's basically still based. Oh, my door is open. I think the wind did it again. Curses. I need a way better door. Give me a wild
I
animal
need to
in
read
here.
his diary. It's called Kona. Yeah. I bought it like a while back. I forgot when. It was really cheap when I bought it too. There was a sale on it.
A sale.
Oh, why? I need old document.
Ah, moving. What a pleasant activity. Of course, you'll find the record player only to find the records weeks later in some random box. It felt like old people were all these walls could see for years. The Lachances could hardly be blamed for wanting to freshen things up a bit. Beautiful portrait of Gilles and Giselle, bound together by the chains of conventional love. A nice white coating would restore the room to its charm of olden days. What a mess. Clearly, there was some major revamping work underway here. The place looked barely habitable. That window had seemingly been left open for a while, Carl thought. Given the punishing weather, it couldn't have been intentional. What was even the point of locking your door if everyone hid their key in the same place? Carl was starting to feel like his investigator life lacked challenge. The house smelled like incense, the kind that reminds you of the good Lord, of peace. The family's mother must have spent her days washing the filth off her kids' diapers. Who knew that giraffes thrived in the North Pole? The craze for toys was stupefying. Carl wasn't desperate enough to invade a village woman's privacy. Carl wasn't desperate enough to invade a village woman's privacy. Dreamcatchers originated from First Nations legends. They were used to trap nightmares. Jean-Luc Bédard had without a doubt been the closest man in the village to William Hamilton, otherwise known as Uncle Willie.
What happened? Where the hell did she go?
An aging car was parked here. Carl could picture the notary's heavy sedan with a huge back seat large enough to fit the whole family. A true Catholic always strives to keep lowly temptations at bay. Obviously, Carl thought, someone in this house wasn't doing a good job at upholding the Holy Bible's teachings.